There comes a moment in every life when you feel it, an inner whisper that refuses to be silenced. A whisper that says, you were made for more. Most people ignore it. They bury it under fear, excuses, and distractions. They drift, living day after day, without purpose, without passion, without power. But a rare few, listen to that whisper. And when they do, they awaken a force so powerful that nothing can stop them. Napoleon Hill called this force the other self, the unstoppable version of you that only appears when you finally decide to live with faith, persistence, and purpose. This self does not bow to fear. It does not drift. It does not quit. It rises, it decides, it persists until success becomes inevitable. Hill devoted his life to uncovering the laws of success, and he discovered something extraordinary. Success is never an accident. It is never luck. It is never chance. It is the result of law, universal principles that work for anyone who dares to apply them. And the first of these is desire. Every achievement begins with burning desire, not a passing wish, not a vague hope, but a fire so intense it consumes your thoughts, drives your actions, and refuses to die. Hill wrote, "Weak desire brings weak results, but burning desire, an obsession with your vision, becomes the seed of destiny. Yet desire alone cannot carry you. It must be sustained by faith. Faith is the ability to see the invisible, to believe in the dream when no evidence exists, to hold on when logic says let go. Faith is the power that whispers, it is already yours. Keep going. Without faith, desire collapses in the face of obstacles. With faith, desire becomes unbreakable. And faith must be impressed upon the subconscious mind." Hill explained that your subconscious is the silent engine of your destiny. It accepts whatever you feed it, whether fear or faith, doubt or persistence, and multiplies it. The subconscious does not argue. It obeys. This is why autosuggestion is so critical. Every word you repeat, every image you visualize, every affirmation you declare with emotion plants seeds in your subconscious. And in time, those seeds grow into reality. But here lies the truth. Most people never control this process. They allow fear, doubt, and the negativity of others to program their subconscious. They repeat words of defeat, visualize failure, and expect disappointment. And because the subconscious obeys, their lives mirror their fears. But you are different. You can choose differently. You can feed your subconscious daily with faith, gratitude, vision, and persistence until it accepts them as fact. And once it does, your entire being begins to move in harmony with your destiny. Yet even with desire, faith, and subconscious alignment, there is one final ingredient: persistence. Persistence is the bridge between vision and reality. Most people quit too soon. They surrender at the first sign of defeat. They stop inches from gold. But those who persist, those who rise again and again, those who refuse to quit, always win. Not immediately, not easily, but inevitably. And persistence must be anchored in purpose. Without purpose, persistence dies in the fire of struggle. Without a why that burns in your soul, fear and failure will break you. But when your purpose is clear, when your mission is greater than your pain, no obstacle can stop you. Purpose makes you unshakable. This is the law of success. Desire, faith, autosuggestion, persistence, purpose. Together, they awaken the other self, the version of you that is unstoppable. And the truth is this: you already have everything you need inside you. You already carry the seed of greatness. You already have the power to transform your destiny. The only question is, will you drift or will you decide? Will you quit or will you persist? Will you live small or will you awaken the force that has been waiting within you all along? Most people never step into their true power because they never decide. They drift through life, waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. And in waiting, they waste the one resource they can never recover: time. Napoleon Hill revealed the truth with piercing clarity. Indecision is the devil's greatest tool. It paralyzes the dreamer, kills momentum, and destroys destiny. Indecision allows fear to grow stronger with every delay. It whispers, "Not yet. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe when things are easier." But tomorrow never comes. Fear feeds on hesitation, and hesitation feeds on fear, until life slips away. Decision is the weapon. Decision is the act that breaks chains, ends drifting, and sets the mind on fire. Decision says, "I will. I must. I refuse to quit. This is my purpose, and I will not stop until it is real." The instant you decide, truly decide, something shifts. Your subconscious mind takes the command and begins aligning everything within you toward your vision. Ideas appear. Opportunities reveal themselves. People you need seem to show up at the right time. The world itself begins to move in harmony with a made-up mind. But here is where most fail. They confuse desire with decision. They say they want success, but they never commit fully. They keep a back door open, an escape plan, a just in case. And because their decision is weak, their results are weak. Decision must be absolute. It must burn the bridges of retreat. It must declare, "I will persist until I succeed, until I win, until my vision becomes real." Only then does the universe respond. Only then does infinite intelligence deliver. And persistence is the proof of decision. Anyone can decide in a moment of inspiration. But true decision is tested in silence, in struggle, in failure. True decision is proven when you keep going with no applause, no reward, no recognition, only faith. He'll explain that persistence is not a gift, it is a discipline. And discipline grows stronger each time you act in spite of fear. Every time you persist when you feel like quitting, you rewire your subconscious. You prove to yourself that quitting is not an option. Persistence becomes identity, and once it does, success becomes inevitable. But how do you build unshakable persistence? He'll gave us the answer. Purpose. Weak purpose produces weak persistence. Strong purpose produces unbreakable persistence. If your why is shallow, the moment struggle comes, you will quit. But when your why is burning, when it is tied to something bigger than yourself, family, legacy, impact, you will endure anything. Purpose is the fuel. Faith is the anchor. Persistence is the bridge. Together, they make you unstoppable. And here is the secret. Every great dream will be tested. Fear will rise. Doubt will whisper. Obstacles will stand in your way. But the test is not to destroy you. It is to strengthen you. Every struggle is shaping the character you need to hold success when it comes. Every delay is preparing the foundation so that when the breakthrough arrives, it will not crumble. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude transforms struggle into strength. Gratitude says, "Thank you for the test, because it is making me stronger. Thank you for the delay, because it is preparing me. Thank you for the failure, because it is teaching me." Gratitude keeps faith alive when circumstances look hopeless. Gratitude reminds you that abundance already exists, even when you cannot see it yet. So decide. Decide now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Decide that you will persist until your destiny becomes reality. Decide that you will no longer drift. Decide that you will awaken the power within you. Because the truth is this: the world does not respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. And the moment you decide, truly decide, you awaken the other self, the unstoppable you that has been waiting all along. There will always come a moment when the pressure feels unbearable. The dream looks distant. The failures pile up. The silence is deafening. You look around and nothing seems to move. That is the moment when most people surrender. They convince themselves that destiny has forgotten them. They say, "Maybe it wasn't meant to be." And with those words, they bury their own greatness. But Napoleon Hill uncovered a secret that only the persistent ever discover. Temporary defeat is never permanent failure. Temporary defeat is not a signal to quit. It is a test of faith a refining fire, a necessary step in the process of becoming unstoppable. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has endured failure after failure. Edison failed thousands of times before creating the light bulb. Ford faced bankruptcy before building his empire. Lincoln lost more elections than he won before becoming one of the most powerful leaders in history. Their greatness was not that they avoided failure. It was that they persisted through it. Hill said it plainly. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. One more step, one more try, one more act of faith. That is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Failure is not your enemy. Quitting is. Failure teaches. Quitting kills. Failure reveals the lessons that success hides. Quitting ensures you never see the harvest. Failure is temporary. Quitting makes it permanent. Persistence is the weapon that transforms failure into fuel. Each time you rise after defeat, your courage grows. Each time you act in spite of fear, your faith deepens. Each time you refuse to quit, your identity shifts. You stop being a drifter and start becoming a creator. Persistence is not just something you do, it is who you become. But here is the paradox. The closer you are to your breakthrough, the harder the resistance becomes. Doubt screams louder. Fear presses heavier. Circumstances feel more impossible. Why? Because resistance peaks just before it breaks. The darkest night always comes before dawn. The fiercest storm comes before the calm. The greatest test comes before the breakthrough. And most people quit in that exact moment. They walk away inches from gold. They give up just before the blessing. They abandon the process when victory is about to arrive. But you're not most people. You are here because you refuse to drift. You are here because you are ready to persist. You are here because you know that every failure is shaping you. Every defeat is training you. Every obstacle is preparing you for what is to come. So when you feel like quitting, remind yourself, I am closer than I think. My struggle is proof of my progress. My delay is proof of my preparation. My persistence is proof of my destiny. This is the law. Persistence always wins. Not immediately, not easily, but inevitably. And if you decide today that quitting is no longer an option, you will awaken something extraordinary inside you. You will awaken the self that refuses to be broken, the self that Hill called the other self, the self that can withstand any defeat, any delay, any doubt, and still rise. So the next time failure comes knocking, don't see it as the end. See it as the test. See it as the training. See it as the proof that success is near. Because if you persist one more day, one more step, one more act of faith, you will find that breakthrough is waiting just beyond persistence. The greatest war you will ever fight is not against the world. It is against yourself, against the doubts that whisper in your mind, against the fear that paralyzes you, against the excuses that disguise themselves as logic. Napoleon Hill revealed that success is not about conquering others. It is about conquering your own mind. Your mind is both your greatest ally and your most dangerous enemy. Every thought is a command. Every belief is a blueprint. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious. That subconscious does not argue. It accepts and multiplies. If you feed it fear, fear grows. If you feed it faith, faith multiplies. If you fill it with excuses, it creates a life of limitation. But if you fill it with purpose, gratitude, and persistence, it creates a life of abundance. This is why Hill insisted on the power of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is not wishful thinking. It is mental programming. It is the daily discipline of directing your subconscious toward destiny. Each affirmation, each visualization, each word of faith spoken with emotion becomes a seed. And when planted consistently, those seeds grow into unshakable belief. And belief always manifests itself in reality. But here's the problem. Most people are careless with their thoughts. They allow negativity, criticism, and doubt from others to dominate their minds. They repeat words like, I can't, it's impossible, I'll never make it, and their subconscious accepts those commands, creating circumstances to fulfill them. They become prisoners of their own thinking. The creator chooses differently. The creator guards his mind like a fortress. He refuses to let fear enter unchallenged. He replaces doubt with faith, excuses with persistence, negativity with gratitude. He speaks words of victory, visualizes success as though it already exists, and impresses his subconscious with the truth of his destiny. And because the subconscious is obedient, it begins to create that destiny in the outer world. This is the real law of attraction as Hill described it. Not passive daydreaming, not empty wishes, but alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned with your purpose, the world responds. You begin to see opportunities that were always there, but invisible until your mind was trained to notice them. You attract people who resonate with your faith and vision. You take bold action because belief has become natural. Attraction is not magic. It is law, but the law works both ways. If you drift, you attract mediocrity. If you fear, you attract struggle. If you doubt, you attract obstacles. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It only multiplies what you focus on. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude is not just appreciation. It is proof of faith. When you give thanks for what you already have and for what is coming, you send a message to your subconscious. I already live in abundance. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to plenty, from fear to faith. And because your subconscious creates in harmony with your focus, gratitude draws even more reasons to be grateful. But repetition and gratitude alone are not enough. They must be mixed with emotion. Cold affirmations do not move the subconscious. But when words are spoken with burning desire, when visions are felt with passion, when gratitude is expressed with joy, those emotions charge the thought with energy, and the subconscious cannot resist. And once belief is established, persistence becomes natural. You no longer force yourself, you flow. You no longer wonder if. It becomes only a matter of when. Quitting is no longer an option because your subconscious has already accepted victory as fact. This is why the battlefield is within. If you conquer your thoughts, you conquer your life. If you feed your subconscious faith, gratitude, and persistence, your destiny becomes unstoppable. So ask yourself now, what seeds am I planting daily? What words am I repeating? What emotions am I feeding? Am I programming myself for victory or for defeat? Because your present life is the harvest of your past thoughts, and your future will be the harvest of what you are planting today. Guard your mind. Program it with faith. Persist daily. Live with purpose, and your subconscious will lead you to the life you were created to live. Every person who has ever risen to greatness has walked through the fire of failure. Not once, not twice, but again and again. And yet, what separates the successful from the defeated is not the absence of failure. It is their relationship with it. Napoleon Hill discovered a truth that most people never accept. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Temporary defeat is the testing ground where persistence is forged. Without it, you cannot grow strong enough to hold the destiny waiting for you. Think of Edison, who failed over 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. Each so-called failure was not wasted. It was another step closer to discovery. Think of Henry Ford, who went bankrupt before building an empire. Think of Abraham Lincoln, who lost far more elections than he won before becoming one of the most respected leaders in history. Their greatness was not that they avoided defeat. It was that they refused to let defeat define them. Most people quit at the first setback. They confuse delay with denial. They believe the voice that says, maybe this isn't meant for you. But those who persist understand that every failure carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. They do not run from defeat, they study it. They do not collapse under rejection, they redirect. They do not surrender in struggle, they are strengthened by it. Hill compared persistence to carbon and steel. Just as carbon transforms iron into something unbreakable, persistence transforms character into something indestructible. Each defeat, each rejection, each delay adds strength if you persist. Without persistence, you remain fragile. With persistence, you become unshakable. But persistence does not survive on willpower alone. It must be fueled. The fuel is purpose. A weak desire cannot withstand strong opposition. A shallow why collapses under pressure. But a burning purpose, tied to something bigger than yourself, will carry you through storms that would break the ordinary. When your purpose is strong, pain becomes preparation. Delay becomes discipline. Rejection becomes redirection. Every struggle is converted into fuel. Purpose transforms defeat into destiny. And faith makes it unstoppable. Faith whispers, "This is not the end. It is the process." Faith reminds you that what you desire already exists in the unseen, waiting for you to persist until it appears in the visible. Faith allows you to endure silence, to act boldly without evidence, to move forward when everything looks impossible. This is why gratitude is essential even in the face of defeat. Gratitude transforms your perspective. Gratitude says, "Thank you for the struggle, because it is making me stronger. Thank you for the delay, because it is refining me. Thank you for the failure, because it is teaching me." Gratitude turns defeat into training instead of tragedy. So when failure comes, and it will welcome it, see it as feedback, not finality. Ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this preparing me? Where is this leading me? Because here is the truth. Quitting is the only true failure. Everything else is growth. So persist. Persist when you are tired. Persist when you are discouraged. Persist when the world doubts you. Persist when fear shouts louder than faith. Persist when results are invisible. Because the harvest always belongs to the one who refuses to quit. There is a force inside you that is stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, stronger than every failure you have ever faced. That force is purpose. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you steady in storms, the fire that keeps you moving when others quit, the compass that guides you when the path is unclear. Without purpose, persistence collapses. Without purpose, faith fades. Without purpose, even desire dies. But with purpose, you become unstoppable. Napoleon Hill declared that definiteness of purpose is the foundation of all achievement. He studied the giants of industry, the builders of empires, the leaders of nations, and he found that their greatness was not built on chance or privilege. It was built on clarity. They knew what they wanted. They decided firmly, and they refused to quit until it was done. Most people never experience this kind of clarity. They drift. They let circumstances dictate their lives. They wait for purpose to appear, not realizing that purpose is chosen, not discovered. They live in jobs they hate, routines they resent, lives they never designed. And in drifting, they lose their power. But the one who chooses a purpose, who writes it down, who affirms it daily, who aligns every decision with it, that person taps into a source of energy that does not run out. Purpose fuels desire. Purpose anchors faith. Purpose gives persistence the strength to endure when nothing else can. Decision is the switch that activates purpose. Hill warned that indecision is the death of destiny. Every moment you hesitate, every day you delay, every excuse you accept, weakens your faith and strengthens your fear. But decision restores power. Decision is the act of saying, "This is my purpose. This is my destiny. I will persist until." And once you decide, something shifts. Your subconscious receives the command. Infinite intelligence begins aligning circumstances in your favor. People appear. Opportunities open. Strength rises within you. Life responds to a made-up mind. Purpose, decision, and persistence together generate power. And power is not force, it is alignment. It is when your thoughts, your emotions, your words, and your actions all move in the same direction. Most people scatter their energy across doubt, distraction, and fear. But the one with purpose focuses it. And focused energy is unstoppable. Here is the deeper truth. The most powerful purposes are not selfish. Selfish goals burn out when struggle comes. But purpose is tied to service, to impact, to legacy. Those endure. When your mission is bigger than your comfort, you persist when others quit. When your dream is about lifting others, inspiring others, serving others, quitting is no longer an option because it is not just about you anymore. And this is what creates legacy. Legacy is not built in a single moment of glory. It is built in daily persistence, in silent sacrifices, in faith kept alive when no one sees. Legacy is proof that you lived with purpose. It is the ripple effect of a life lived in alignment with faith and persistence. Hill's greatest lesson was not only about riches. It was about impact, about living with purpose so strong, so clear, so unshakable that nothing, no failure, no fear, no delay can stop you. So ask yourself, have I defined my purpose? Have I decided firmly? Am I persisting daily to live it? Do not wait for another year, another sign, another chance. Life is happening now. Your destiny is waiting now. Purpose is not something to hope for. It is something to choose. Choose it. Write it. Live it. Persist in it. Because once you live with purpose, you cannot be stopped. The law of attraction is one of the most misunderstood concepts in the world today. Too many believe it means simply wishing, visualizing, and waiting. They sit still, daydream, and expect miracles. But Napoleon Hill revealed the truth. The law of attraction is not about wishing. It is about alignment. You do not attract what you casually want. You attract what you are. Your dominant thoughts, your deepest emotions, your strongest beliefs, and your daily actions. They create your vibration, and the world responds to that vibration. When you are consumed with fear, you attract experiences that confirm fear. When you're filled with doubt, you attract obstacles that validate doubt. But when your mind is saturated with faith, gratitude, and persistence, you begin to attract opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your vision. Hill taught us, thoughts are things. They are not empty. They carry power. They shape the subconscious. And when thoughts are mixed with faith and emotion, they become forces that move the unseen into the seen. But the law does not discriminate. It always works. Focus on lack, and you will live in lack. Focus on fear, and you will live in fear. Focus on abundance, gratitude, and persistence, and you will live in abundance. The harvest always matches the seed. This is why autosuggestion is the master key. By affirming your purpose daily, by visualizing your success vividly, by speaking words of gratitude and faith with emotion, you impress your subconscious. And once the subconscious accepts an idea, it works day and night to manifest it. It influences your actions, sharpens your awareness, opens your intuition, and draws into your life the resources you need. But Hill made it clear, thought without action is fantasy. The farmer cannot wish for crops without planting seeds, watering them, and cultivating the land. In the same way, you cannot simply wish for success. You must persist in action. Thought directs. Faith energizes. Gratitude aligns. Persistence carries. But action makes it real. Gratitude is one of the most powerful accelerators of attraction. Gratitude is proof of belief. Gratitude says, I already live in abundance. And because the subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality, it accepts that statement as fact. It then begins shaping your life to match it. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, and what you focus on expands. And here is another secret. Emotion gives thoughts power. Cold, mechanical affirmations have little effect. But affirmations spoken with passion, visions imagined with fire, gratitude expressed with joy, those penetrate deeply into the subconscious. Emotion transforms repetition into belief, and belief into reality. The law of attraction is not instant. Just as a seed takes time to grow, your dream requires patience and persistence. The unseen seasons matter as much as the visible ones. Delay is not denial. Waiting is not wasted. Every day of persistence strengthens the roots until the fruit appears. Most people quit during the waiting season. They plant the seed, but abandon it before the harvest. They let doubt choke the roots. They stop watering their faith. But those who persist, who continue to believe, who continue to act, always see the harvest. So the real law of attraction is this: become the person who already lives the dream. Think the way they would think. Speak the way they would speak. Act the way they would act. Believe the way they would believe. When you align your identity with your destiny, the law must respond. Ask yourself, what vibration am I sending into the world right now? Is it fear or faith? Is it doubt or destiny? Is it gratitude or complaint? Because the law is always reflecting you. And if you dare to align your thoughts with faith, your heart with gratitude, your actions with persistence, and your life with purpose, you will attract abundance, not by chance, but by law. Napoleon Hill's legacy has endured for nearly a century, and still his words ignite minds and transform lives. Few books in history have had the reach and impact of Think and Grow Rich. Millions have studied it, quoted it, lived it. Leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, and dreamers across the world point to his principles as the spark that changed everything. And yet, Hill himself is a figure wrapped in mystery and debate. Did he truly meet Andrew Carnegie and receive the mission to study the world's greatest achievers? Did he really spend decades interviewing titans of industry? Critics argue that parts of his story may have been exaggerated. Admirers insist that whether every detail is factual or not, the principles he taught are timeless, and their effectiveness undeniable. The evidence is clear. Countless people have applied his teachings and escaped poverty, fear, and mediocrity. His principles, desire, faith, persistence, definiteness of purpose, autosuggestion, and mastery of the subconscious mind, have created empires, inspired revolutions, and shaped legacies. That is proof enough. But perhaps the most powerful part of Hill's story is that he was not perfect. He struggled. He faced failure. He endured criticism and doubt. He lived through financial ruin, personal challenges, and uncertainty. He was human, and that humanity makes his message even more powerful because it proves that greatness does not require perfection. It requires persistence. The release of Outwitting the Devil decades after it was written revealed Hill's boldness more than ever. He described the devil not as a horned figure, but as fear, drifting, and indecision, the forces that enslave millions. He warned us that the devil's greatest weapon is keeping people passive, waiting, afraid to decide. That book was hidden because it was too daring, too raw for its time. And yet, today it speaks directly to the modern world, where fear and distraction rule more than ever. This is Hill's true legacy. He showed us that success is not luck, not privilege, not chance. It is law. The law of success is universal. It works for the rich and the poor, the educated and the uneducated, the powerful and the ordinary, anyone who dares to apply it. And now, his story is not about him. It is about you. You are the one with burning desire inside. You are the one with the power of faith. You are the one whose subconscious is waiting for instructions. You are the one who can persist through defeat. You are the one with purpose written into your soul. The law works for everyone, but it will only work for you if you decide. So the question is not, did Hill meet Carnegie? The question is, will you meet your destiny? The question is not, was Hill perfect? The question is, will you persist until you succeed? The question is not about his story. It is about the story you are writing right now. Will you drift, or will you decide? Will you surrender to fear, or will you rise in faith? Will you quit, or will you persist until the victory is yours? Your legacy begins today. Backhand index pointing right. And if this message has spoken to you, if you feel the fire burning inside, do not let it fade. Take action now. Subscribe to this channel, Napoleon Inspires, and join a movement of dreamers and doers who refuse to drift. Here, every week, we share the wisdom of Napoleon Hill, the principles of persistence, and the power of faith and purpose to transform your life. Do not just watch, commit. Do not just listen, live it. Do not just hope, decide. Hit that subscribe button right now and awaken the unstoppable power within you. Because your destiny is not far away. It begins the moment you decide to persist.